In the heart of an ancient forest, where reality blended seamlessly with myth, stood a colossal tree that defied imagination. Its trunk, wider than the broadest city street, stretched skyward, disappearing into a canopy of shimmering leaves that seemed to touch the very stars. This was no ordinary tree, but the fabled elder tree, keeper of all knowledge across every realm of existence. Within its hollowed core lay a library beyond compare, a repository of wisdom that transcended time and space. Sylvan Dreamweaver, a young apprentice librarian with eyes that sparkled like dewdrops in the morning sun, stood at the base of the great tree, craning their neck to take in its majesty. Their heart raced with anticipation as they prepared to enter the Omniversal Library for the first time. Sylvan's mentor, the enigmatic Hazel, had spent years preparing them for this moment, teaching them the intricate arts of bookbinding, storytelling, and the subtle magic that permeated every fibre of the elder tree. As Sylvan approached the hidden entrance, a shimmering portal that appeared only to those deemed worthy, they couldn't help but recall the warnings Hazel had imparted. "The library holds knowledge from every corner of existence," she had said, her eyes distant with memory. "But remember, young Sylvan, knowledge is a double-edged sword. What you learn within these hallowed halls may change you in ways you cannot foresee." With those words echoing in their mind, Sylvan took a deep breath and stepped through the portal. The world shifted and blurred around them, and suddenly Sylvan found themselves standing in a vast, circular chamber. Bookshelves spiraled upwards as far as the eye could see, each shelf laden with tomes of every size, colour and material imaginable. Some books glowed with an inner light, while others seemed to whisper secrets in languages long forgotten. The air itself felt alive with the weight of countless stories and untold wisdom. As Sylvan stood in awe of their surroundings, a gentle voice startled them from their reverie. "Welcome, young Dreamweaver," said Reed, the head librarian, materializing from between the shelves like a spirit of knowledge itself. His eyes, ancient and kind, studied Sylvan with curiosity. "Your journey begins now, but heed this warning. The path of knowledge is not always straight, and the truths you seek may not be the ones you find." With those cryptic words, Reed gestured towards the endless shelves, inviting Sylvan to take their first steps into a world of boundless wonder and hidden dangers. Days turned into weeks as Sylvan immersed themselves in the wonders of the Omniversal Library. Each book they opened revealed new marvels, histories of worlds yet to be born, encyclopedias of creatures that defied imagination, and spellbooks containing magic that could reshape reality itself. Sylvan's thirst for knowledge seemed unquenchable, and they found themselves spending ever longer hours lost among the endless shelves. It was during one of these marathon study sessions that Sylvan stumbled upon something unusual. Tucked away in a forgotten corner, they discovered a slim volume bound in shimmering silk that seemed to change colour with every blink. As Sylvan's fingers brushed its spine, they felt a jolt of energy course through their body. With trembling hands, they opened the book, only to find its pages blank. Yet as they stared at the empty parchment, whispers began to fill their mind, fragments of stories from countless realities. Excited by their discovery, Sylvan sought out Hazel. The wise librarian's brow furrowed as she examined the mysterious tome. "This is no ordinary book, Sylvan," she murmured, her voice tinged with concern. "It's a Nexus Codex, a rare artifact that serves as a crossroads for knowledge from all possible realities. Such books are powerful, but dangerous. They have been known to overwhelm the unprepared mind." Despite Hazel's warnings, Sylvan couldn't resist the allure of the Codex. They began spending every spare moment with it, trying to decipher its secrets. As Sylvan delved deeper into the Nexus Codex, strange occurrences began to plague the library. Books would rearrange themselves overnight, their contents shifting and changing. Shadowy figures flickered at the edge of vision, vanishing when looked at directly. Even time itself seemed to fluctuate, with hours passing like minutes or stretching endlessly. Reed watched these developments with growing unease, his normally serene face clouded with worry. The situation came to a head when Sylvan, exhausted from another late-night session with the Codex, dozed off at their desk. They awoke with a start to find the library transformed. The once orderly shelves now twisted into impossible geometries. Books floated through the air of their own accord, and through gaps in the shelves, Sylvan glimpsed vistas of alien worlds. Panic rising in their throat, Sylvan realized that their obsession with the Nexus Codex had somehow destabilized the delicate balance of the Omniversal Library. As alarms began to sound throughout the tree, Sylvan knew they had to find a way to fix what they had unwittingly set in motion before the very fabric of reality unraveled around them. Alarms echoed through the twisting corridors of the Omniversal Library as reality continued to warp and bend. Sylvan raced through the chaos, dodging floating books and leaping over suddenly appearing chasms. They clutched the Nexus Codex to their chest, its pages now flickering with images from 1,000 worlds. As they rounded a corner, they nearly collided with Hazel and Reed, both looking disheveled and alarmed. "Sylvan!" Hazel cried, her usual composure shattered. "What have you done?" Reed's eyes fixed on the book in Sylvan's arms, understanding dawning on his ancient face. "The Nexus Codex," he breathed. "It's trying to reconcile all possible realities at once." A tremor shook the library, and through a nearby window, they could see branches of the elder tree beginning to phase in and out of existence. Guilt and determination warred in Sylvan's heart. "I can fix this," they insisted, even as doubt gnawed at them. "There must be a way to stabilize the Codex." Reed shook his head gravely. "The only way is to reach the heart of the tree. There, at the nexus of all realities, you might be able to restore balance. But the journey is perilous, and none who have attempted it have ever returned." Without hesitation, Sylvan squared their shoulders. "I have to try. This is my mistake, and I'll make it right." Hazel placed a hand on their shoulder, her eyes shining with a mixture of pride and fear. "You won't go alone. I'll guide you as far as I can." Reed nodded solemnly. "And I'll do what I can to hold the library together. Go, and may the wisdom of all worlds guide you." Together, Sylvan and Hazel plunged into the maelstrom of shifting realities that the library had become. They navigated corridors that looped impossibly, crossed bridges made of pure light, and ducked through doorways that opened onto the void of space. All the while, the Nexus Codex pulsed in Sylvan's arms, growing heavier with each step. As they neared the center of the tree, the very air seemed to thicken, pressing against them like an invisible tide. Suddenly, Hazel stumbled, her form beginning to flicker. "I can go no further," she gasped. "The rest is up to you, Sylvan. Remember all that you've learned, and trust in the magic of the tree." With a final encouraging smile, Hazel faded from view, leaving Sylvan to face the heart of the tree alone. Sylvan stood at the precipice of the heart of the tree, their senses overwhelmed by the swirling vortex of realities before them. The Nexus Codex thrummed with power in their arms, its pages a blur of infinite possibilities. Taking a deep breath, Sylvan stepped into the maelstrom. Instantly, they were assaulted by a cacophony of sights, sounds, and sensations from countless worlds. Fragments of lives unlived flashed before their eyes. Sylvan as a warrior, a scholar, a cosmic entity, a simple farmer. Each possibility felt as real as their own life, threatening to tear their sense of self apart. Gritting their teeth against the onslaught, Sylvan pushed forward, guided by an instinct they didn't fully understand. They reached the center of the vortex, where a colossal bookshelf stood, its shelves curving in impossible geometries. This, Sylvan realized, was the true heart of the Omniversal Library, the singular point where all knowledge converged. With trembling hands, they lifted the Nexus Codex, searching for the perfect spot to return it. As Sylvan's fingers brushed the shelf, a surge of understanding flooded their mind. They saw the intricate web of connections between all realities, the delicate balance that the library maintained. They realized that the Nexus Codex wasn't just a book, but a key, a tool for accessing and manipulating the very fabric of the multiverse. With this newfound wisdom, Sylvan began the painstaking process of realigning the Codex with the greater whole of the library. Hours or eons might have passed as Sylvan worked, carefully weaving the tangled threads of reality back into their proper place. Slowly, the chaos around them began to subside. The violent swirling of the vortex gentled, becoming a harmonious dance of light and shadow. Sylvan felt the oppressive weight of infinite knowledge lift from their shoulders, replaced by a sense of profound peace and interconnectedness. As the last page of the Nexus Codex settled into place, a wave of energy pulsed outward from the heart of the tree. Sylvan was swept along with it, carried back through the now stabilizing corridors of the library. They caught glimpses of order being restored, books returning to their shelves, impossible geometries straightening, and the gaps between realities sealing shut. Finally, Sylvan found themselves back in the main chamber where their journey had begun, exhausted but triumphant. As their vision began to blur, they saw Reed and Hazel rushing towards them, relief evident on their faces. Sylvan managed a weak smile before collapsing, letting the comforting darkness of sleep envelop them. Sylvan awoke to the soft rustling of pages and the warm glow of floating lanterns. They found themselves in a cozy nook of the library, tucked into a reading chair that seemed to embrace them like an old friend. Hazel and Reed sat nearby, their faces etched with a mixture of relief and wonder. As Sylvan's eyes focused, they noticed something different about their mentors, a new depth to their gazes, as if they now carried the weight of infinite knowledge. "Welcome back, young Dreamweaver," Reed said softly, a smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. "You've done what many thought impossible. You've not only restored balance to the Omniversal Library, but unveiled its true nature to us all." Sylvan sat up, questions bubbling to their lips, but Hazel gently raised a hand. "Take a moment," she advised. "What you've experienced, what you've become, it's extraordinary." As Sylvan's senses sharpened, they began to perceive the library in a new way. The walls seemed to pulse with a soft, living energy. Through the gaps between books, they caught flickering glimpses of other realities, not chaotic and threatening as before, but harmoniously coexisting. With a start, Sylvan realized they could perceive multiple versions of the library simultaneously, each one subtly different, yet fundamentally the same. "The Omniversal Library," Reed explained, his voice filled with awe, "exists in all possible realities at once. It's not just a repository of knowledge from different worlds. It's the nexus point where all these realities converge. Your journey to the heart of the tree opened our eyes to this truth." Hazel nodded, adding, "And now, thanks to you, we can perceive and navigate these interconnected libraries. The potential for learning, for understanding the multiverse, is infinite." As the implications of this revelation sank in, Sylvan felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had unlocked a power beyond imagination, a way to access and influence every possible reality through the conduit of knowledge. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the potential for growth and discovery. Looking at Hazel and Reed, Sylvan saw their own wonder and determination reflected back. Together, they would explore this new frontier of interconnected realities, using the Omniversal Library as their guide and sanctuary. As Sylvan stood, ready to embark on this new chapter, they realized that their journey had not ended with the restoration of the library. It had only just begun.